Hi guys, and welcome to a slightly different vlog. Tonight I'm heading out on my own just for a little ride. I haven't ridden for a week. I've been really tired and unenthusiastic, and if I'm honest, I don't even feel like riding now. But I feel guilty for not getting out. I've had a couple of good gym sessions this week so far, so today is Tuesday, so I've done 2 sessions, but I really feel like I should get out on this thing. Well, I feel like I should be getting out on the analog bike, but that is not happening. I'm way too tired tonight and I've left it too late. So e-bike it is, but what sort of ride this turns into, I'm not really sure. I'm thinking of heading up to the local little hill, which I normally go to. Normally go up there with my friend Noah, but he's working tonight, and also I think he's broken his bike again, so it'll just be me, but I might include some clips of him riding. Anyway, I'm going to head towards that direction to that hill, and then just see how I feel when I actually get there. So we are about 3 minutes and 18 seconds in, and I have to say, I really feel better from just pedalling about, to be honest. I've done like nothing to this bike, not checked it. I poked the tyres, that's been about it. It feels soft, but I think that's all in my head, because I'm really tired. I start getting obsessed about things. So I've decided not even going to touch anything, and if anything starts making weird noises, I'll just take it as the fact that I should just go home. Rolling through a nice bit of countryside, decided to go the back lanes there. So there's 2 ways that go through, sort of go down a bit of a cycle path around, or you can make it a bit longer, a bit hillier, and go down here, down through a little village called Lake, which is very nice, and it's usually pretty quiet as well with vehicles. The other way is, it's a bit more boring going the other way, and there's more climbing, whereas this way is quite scenic. We are just over 20 minutes in, so I am now 20 minutes away from the house, so whatever happens I've got to do a 40-minute ride. But what I'm going to do is attempt to get up this bridle path that I have never successfully got up before. So I've tried a couple of times with the orange, and in the wet it's really hard because it's slippy. It's kind of just becomes a stream, and then in the dry, because it's so wet a lot of the time, when it's dry, there's moss and stuff all over the rocks, so it's equally as slippy, and if you get it wrong, once you've got to put your foot down, it's really hard to get started again. I used to struggle with the orange as well with the seat height, so I'm hoping that the Orbea might be slightly different. But also, I think I'm going to try an EMTB rather than the boost, because when it gets slippy, when you have the boost on, it just spins the back wheel and then that knocks you off balance. So I've prepped it in what I think is the correct gear, and now I'm going to have a go. So get ready for some GoPro footage. And let's face it, regardless of anything I say here, this is going to look like flat, isn't it? So let's see. So we're going to, little tip that I've had before is don't have your saddle all the way up, because that helps a little bit. Cool. I love the fact that it just doesn't change gear in a really critical place. Yes, well done gears. Even EMTB feels a little bit like too much. Also, what might be a benefit up here might be the 29 wheel, actually. So we'll see. It's not so much talking because there's a lot of concentrating. Okay, that was the first really hard bit, when you got to cross across those 2 awkward ridges, and a lot of the time it looks like, oh, that's lovely and dry, and then underneath some of the sort of stuff you can see on the ground there, it's a really super slippery green bit. So that's good. Kind of gone quite far, can see a pheasant up ahead. It's having no trouble getting up here. Right, this is the next tricky bit. Partly because the brambles grow on that side, so you come over here and then the brambles grab you. And they did grab me a bit, but I've managed to thwart them and those. Right, come on, that's it. Oh, okay. Right, trying to keep the weight on the front as much as I possibly can, so it doesn't kick Back wheel slid out a bit there. And keep my weight over that side. Oh, get off. So many of those brambles just wanting to pull you off the bike, and that's before anything's slippery. Okay. Right, keep going. Get up this side. Sometimes bits of it look like certain parts would be better, and then you get over to those certain parts and they're not, because there's one super slippery rock or something like that and it puts you right off. There's a bit of foliage trying to get me. Fucking earphone fell out. Well, anyway, that was the really hard bit, and I've never completed that before, ever. So, woohoo, well done, Orbea. Okay, so that was the really techie bit. Next, not so techie, bit of a sort of rocky rut, but the difficulty here is all of the green stuff growing and invading. Oh, but we made it, and I managed to keep my headphone as well. I somehow have lost, and like, you get this if anybody's got freaking ADHD and autism, you just lose stuff. Sometimes it turns up and sometimes you never see it again. And I have lost 2 pairs of headphones in the last 3 months. One, I think, was like an accidental loss when you just dropped it or something. And then I didn't think about looking at the Find My iPhone thing for ages, and now the batteries have gone flat. So last time they'd seen them was Wales, so the chances are they are gone. But the ones I'm most annoyed about were my backup pair, and I put them in a safe place when I went to France, and now I can't remember what that safe place was. So I've lost them too. So I bought some Apple EarPods, but not the Pro ones, so they don't have the different tips on the end, and they're just not staying in my ears very well, which is annoying, but not made of money. I don't want to keep spending on the freaking headphones that I might lose. Made it to Codden Hill. I resisted the urge to turn around, so I'm pedaling up. It's nice and bright actually. It is a really nice evening, and I am pleased that I've come out. But we all get it. We just kind of get, even the thing that we love doing, like our most favourite thing, we get after a while sort of sick of it, need a bit of a break, a little bit overloaded, and that's kind of how I was feeling. Probably shouldn't have ridden my bike the weekend before, but I did, and I didn't have that good of a time. And if I hadn't ridden that weekend, I'd probably be better now, but oh well, I gave it a go. So this is sometimes where you've got discipline versus motivation. I hadn't had motivation for a couple of weeks. It was more pressure I put on myself, and then the discipline, which made me continue to go out, is kind of what physically put me over the edge. And I was a little bit of a physical and mental mess last week, so hopefully starting this week more fresh. And thank goodness for the Eve, because if I didn't have that, I probably wouldn't have bothered to come out tonight, to be honest. Although I wasn't sure what I was going to do, I am going to hit up some of the trails. I'm going to go and have a look at the one that Noah's been building. And then I'm going to go and practice some corners, because one of the things that I've never been able to crack is which brake is which. And not last weekend, because I didn't ride, but the weekend before with Jim, we did some sort of steep off-piste stuff near Llangollen, and I think I might have actually cracked to being able to remember which brake's which. But because I'm now using my rear brake more than my front brake, the back wheel is like sliding a lot more, which I haven't been used to for a bit. So I need to go and practice that on some corners I'm a bit more familiar with, and get used to that braking before I go back to some steeper stuff again. Here is the dropping in part. He's obviously still been up here doing some cutting, good lad. Alright, let's see what we got down here. Oh, built something new up there. He's put that jump back. Sketchy as that is though. Interesting. I'm definitely not going to be hitting that. That landing is too short, I think, for that. But it looks like he's trying to head off a bit further down the hill. It looks flipping horrible. Like it's just going to send you into the abyss, because you literally come up and you don't see the landing until that point. I think he's moved it back slightly, because it was a little bit closer before. I don't know if he's actually hit it yet. Got a few clips of him not hitting it because, as I said, it looks horrendous. It's weird because, like, I always feel a bit like this in August. It's like the summer builds up and I'm having a really good time. And every year I do this. I do too much, get absolutely knackered, and then kind of get to August and I start being really tired. So I should learn my lesson really, but I'm not entirely sure why I have loads and loads of energy and then suddenly I have none. But here we are again, 3rd year or 4th year in a row it might be. So I am being kinder to myself this year. Anyway, that is enough of me moaning. Have a look at this. What a lovely evening. And it's always really quiet up here as well, so that's perfect. Elson, it's really good here. And he's doing a really good job. And there's some other kids that are building stuff. And again, they're doing a really good job. But you have to watch it because sometimes they'll build something and then they'll come along and they'll take it out and you come again and you haven't realised it's moved and you go into something and it's not there. So it's always worth here on this little bit of hill to make sure you double check stuff before you head down it. Next section, there's more stuff in here than just this one, but at the moment you can't access it because it's so overgrown, and with the rate that everything's growing, it basically, if you started to try and do it now, you would just end up having to do it every week because it is that good of growing weather at the moment. So we'll just hit what's here. It's a very old trail, as you can tell. Trying to do the braking.
Let me see you, 'cause it's just
Oh, okay, sorry. No worries.
It was just like silence and suddenly a rush to
Yeah, so I wasn't sure whether you wanted me to stop or whether...
Oh, well, as long as they can see you, they're all right.
Oh, it's the noise.
Hear a bike behind them or something, and they just spook.
That, it's got to be, I've just had another chat to that lady with the horse. One of the first times I've actually had a conversation with a horse rider whilst I've been on my bike that hasn't been really rude and obnoxious to me for basically just being there. Because there's a lot of times where the trails are shared in a lot of these places, because bridle paths, of course, you can go on there as well with a bike, and a lot of places with trails, they're in the countryside, so they are shared, which is absolutely fine. But a lot of the time you come across horse riders and they're just really rude and quite aggressive, and you think, you know, I wasn't being rude or obnoxious here, and I tried to stop. So when people are not very nice, it sort of gives them a bit of a bad rap. I suppose, in fairness, they may have come across mountain bikers with a similar attitude and assume they're all the same, so I can't really comment. Have a go down again. We'll go on the other line though this time. My back brake rather, this lever is really pulling in, but then it seems to go alright, so don't know what's wrong with that. I need to bleed or something. You know, sometimes like, you don't touch your bike for ages and everything's fine on it, and then you get a brand new bike that should be mint and then you've got all this stuff. And considering I haven't really used the back brake much until recently, Ow. So many brambles. Oh, lovely and slidey again. We had a few weeks where all of this was so nice and dry, and then it's come all off and rubbish again. That was better. Definitely did better and more confidence with the braking that time. Can never get through there. That is actually, I measured it, is exactly the same width as my handlebars. Whoa! Didn't quite do enough brake there, and he went over the edge. Whoa. I've been out for about an hour already, an hour and 2 minutes. Quite pleased with that, considering after the first 15 minutes I wanted to go back, so that's really good. I'm going to do a few more laps down here, and then I'm going to head over to the other side on those trails before heading back, because I want to go back down that way anyway, so that'll be pretty good. Might even be out for, probably won't be moving time for 2 hours, but it might be out for 2 hours, which would be really good actually. Proper nice view up here. You can see right out to the coast. Probably can't see because it's a bit hazy, but over in the very far distance would be Lundy Island, which you can see from here on a nice day, and it is a nice day, but it's too hazy. But yeah, it's very nice. Over to the left, you got Dartmoor over there and Exmoor over to the right. So this is the highest point of the town, of which Barnstable is where I live. And this is the highest point, so at summer solstice and stuff, you have people coming up here for that, because it's the high point, and you still, even though all the building and everything else, you've got a very nice view from up here now. Yeah. Going to be thankful for the handguards in a minute. Right off the side. And this is what I meant about how those other trails are just, at the moment, no point in trying to go well and see if you can do anything to them, because they are literally like this, where it's grown up so much you can't see the trail and things grab you off. So if you went over there and actually tried to do anything to them at the moment, you'd come back next week and it would be literally like this. We'll head down here nice and chill, because this was where I said that people do quite a bit of building, and it literally changes almost day to day. Ironically, this week, it's not changed at all, except for all of the stuff growing up. There was a really cool little like jump line there used to be, but they've put two of the wooden features that made like a whole trail, basically one after the other now on a different side, so that's kind of the end of that fun trail, which is a shame. Gonna call it here. So I've done an hour and 20 minutes. The riding was good. I could do a few more laps here, but I'm a bit concerned about the fact whatever that brake lever is doing. So I've asked for some advice and hopefully they get back to me, and then I can maybe sort it out for the weekend so I can do some proper riding. Or maybe Thursday. I know I've got the analog bike, but I don't know, it feels like this lack of energy is never ending, so who knows. But anyway, we have still got to boost it back home. Got off the other road bit now, and back onto the cycle path that I mentioned at the beginning of the video that goes to the other side of the hill, so we're going back that way. So I also need a little bit of adjustment on the gears as well. I think they're very clickety click click, or, and this isn't out of the question because I have ridden it a few times and pretty much crashed 80% of the time, I could have bent a hanger, damaged a derailleur. None of that's out of the question, so it does need to be a little bit of investigation into this bike. But yeah, I got the rayon as well, I can ride. In two minds whether or not I'll do the Southern Enduro at Minehead. I had originally considered doing it, but I was going to do it on the e-bike, and then it all got a little bit confusing with Jim, and Jim was away, and then he was like, oh, why don't you go and ride with Becky Skelton, which I was like, yeah, that would be awesome. But then I was like, if I do that, I have to do it on the analog bike, so he's entered me into that, and now really I just can't be bothered, because Minehead is my least favourite race. It's always the race that's like at the end of the season when I'm the most tired, like I am now, and every time I've done that particular race, that race venue, which I know from having done it on the analog, that there is so much climbing in it, and the transitions are just and if it's the slightest bit wet, it's horrendous. And I'll probably be pushing some of it because I am not as fit as I have been in previous years due to lack of running. I'm not enthusiastic about it at all, and I wonder whether that actually has played a part in how I felt over the last week, knowing that event was coming up. I was also going to do it with Noah, but Noah isn't going now, so I don't have to feel bad about that. So the chances are I won't do that race. In which case, I do need to have a look at the e-bike, because that's probably the one I'll be riding at the weekend. Rolling back down the road, nearly home. I'm going to film this bit on the GoPro, but the GoPro didn't switch on, so I'll use the phone instead. It really makes that much difference. I'm going to put the bike right in the van, so I can charge it at work tomorrow, but also so I can have a look at the gears and the brake. But overall, pretty pleased, pretty happy that I went out. And although I'm pretty tired, it was worth it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know in the comments if you get months or weeks or days when you just really feel like you don't want to do the thing that's one of your favourite things to do because you don't even have the energy to do that. Let me know if you have some kind of like diagnosis which is why you think that happens, or whether it's just a case of just doing too much and being too tired and maybe having too much of a good thing. I don't know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like, comment, subscribe to my channel for more cool stuff, and I will see you in the next video.